Monday, May 26, 2025. A little vlog, a little thing for the police. Not for the police, but for my interaction with the police in Monmouth, Oregon. But I'm looking all a little scruffy. But anyways, I was at the Lutheran church laying down. I was walking down the parking lot in my confession, you know what I mean? Still letting the neighbors hear my old complexes who made a whole bunch of reports, got me kicked out, etc. So I was just expressing my authentic self, you know, just like a spiritualist should. If you're not authentic, you know what I mean? You can't be me, Mexican food. Come get your snack and your meal. But anyways, if you're not authentic with yourself, even if you vented out some things you could keep to yourself, some things you should jot down in online, offline. Facebook says what's on your mind, so I just drop all these random stuff, nonsense. People call you crazy for what's on your mind for venting. Oh well, who cares? But anyways, I was going there talking about this, that, and the other, and said some violent stuff, you know what I mean? But I was like, if you want to get it, you know what I mean? Because somebody said it was walking by, was in the backyard over there, one of my old neighbors, and they're like, bitch ass nigga or something like that. And then I was like, what's up? You got something to say? Come through, come slide through, whatever. You know, we can handle it. And it went a little excessive over that, but just kept repeating itself. And I was like, oh, you guys are bitches anyways, you know what I'm saying? In a little white girl college town anyways. And I had gotten a little, I don't know, it wasn't too heated, I guess a heated conversation with my mom, but sometimes that happens and then we just blow steam off and then get past it. It's not a big deal, even if it gets loud or whatever. But then I left, and I had said no one could really call the police on me because of my status is above their jurisdiction, right? It's more than a sovereign. It's like prophetic sovereignty, I guess you can describe it in that nature. But everything I speak is in a descriptive nature, so sometimes it's a little different than the normal understanding. So, but anyways, I had walked down there, in the Lutheran church. My house has a portal to death in the garage, right? So it's a prophetic portal, so it's a sacred landmark for the religion. So I have to go put that into the city admissions and get the Monmouth. I also have to go get the Monmouth police call records because I was walking down saying, you know what I mean, that just basically kind of hitting them up like I'm not gonna say full on gamer, but venting out under my confession in the church, out in the parking lot in the sun. After a heated a heated little conversation with my mom, kind of irritated already. So I was like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I'm going to talk out loud. There are a bunch of, everyone who talked about me in the community or hated on me it's mostly the drug addicts, the tweakers and stuff, or the criminal, you know what I mean? Some of the neighbors too, even the bikers. But they became child molesters when they were poisoning me. They poisoned my water, and then they poisoned some of my food. They would I caught one of them jumping back my fence from the neighbor's house. I already caught him through the window. And then I was looking out the window, and he was jumping back over. They jumped the fence, walked in my back door, and then they were putting stuff in my food. So it was incognito, you know what I mean? And then the bikers were staying in the back, watching. I don't know if they caught it, because if they didn't say nothing, then they're just part of it, you know what I mean? But if they said something, then they're part of the child molestation and shit. Because me, my mom, and my sister, and me and my nephew would eat food all the time. So then the other neighbor, Katie, was coming over all the time over there, lived next to me, did 310 on the F's curve, right across the street from Papa Murphy's, at the end on the left. And everyone knew I lived there. I had Santa Muerte on the window. People pull in, oh, that's where the prophet lives, da-da-da, he's crazy, da-da-da. But it really wasn't much craziness. It was just me getting a large amount of energies and then being attacked with frequency warfare, electronic harassment, cyber stalking, etc. A whole bunch of different things, and community environments, right? And then, so today I was just walking back there venting and shit, and he said, bitch ass nigga. I was like, oh, what's up? You know what I mean? Come through, slide through, anyone you can. And then I was just clowning on how VL is like a fake Sureño hood, because real Sureños gangbang the 1-3 or the X3. So you can't be a real Sureño if you're not banging X3, but they all look like Sureños. So I was like, they're fake Sureños, but they're I guess they're real hood. I don't know, but you know what I mean? I stood up to him a couple of times in Salem. I'm a legend down here for Starboy Q, and I don't know if you guys know Philip. He lived next to my grandma and grandpa, my brother Isaac and shit. And fucking he had his cousin from Califas come through one time, about like around my cousin Lex was still alive, and I stood up to all of them too and called them out. There was like 20 of them. That was when Smiley was alive and shit, but that's all real dumb bullshit. I really don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? It's just knowing my position. But what bothers me most is that they see someone who's soft, right? Or someone who changed their life, and then they talk shit, and then they try to make themselves look harder, or look downer, or look like they're more militant, more cooler, more gang member. But when someone steps up, then they all shut up. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a very few occasions when they'll come out the pop or they'll hear this, or they'll get tired of it. You know what I mean? Because some people you got a breaking point. But you know what I'm saying? But anyways, someone called me bitch ass nigga, so I kept talking shit. They shut the fuck up. Some little kid was like, "You're lying," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." And I was like, "Don't send your kids out here. Don't send your wives out here. Your girls, whatever, because I'll slap the fuck out of them too. And then you guys can come. I'll slap the fuck out of you too, whatever. If I catch a L, oh well, nigga, it's gonna be hard to catch a L. You know what I mean? Especially if I slide you one. I'm pretty big, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not common. Everyone catches an L once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're fighting all the time. You can't catch 100 fucking fights and say you caught all 100, you know what I mean? I mean, if you caught 5 fights and you won 5 fights, cool. But if it's like 100, you know what I mean? You're going to have to at least catch one or a black eye or something, you know? It's just common sense. But anyways, I called them out, and then some of the kid yelled, and I was like, if you guys want to fucking, I can slap the fuck out of the kid too. And then, then they called the police, because I called them child molesters, because, you know what I mean? That's what they do, you know what I mean? Police don't have jurisdiction over me, so they kind of just come peacefully, and then most of the time will come harassment and brutality. So I'm not under the jurisdiction of the police, but because they get called, they do their job, and I appreciate them doing their job, and then they leave. But they just politely asked me to keep my voice down, etc. And then really punked me. I just calmed the nature down a little bit, and then laid down for a bit and took off. But anyways, besides that, they came in a Prius-looking car, a gray one, and a unit car, right? So I told them about sovereignty or whatever, but I told them the regular sovereignty, and then I told them like a prophetic sovereignty in the description nature, where I'm above the capital crimes. And that the capital crimes are just usually like murder, terrorism, and crimes against humanity, stuff of that nature. Those are the capital crimes. A sovereign usually can kind of get someone. It depends on the nature, because sometimes state national is different. I get confused sometimes too, but it's okay. I'm tired. But anyways, usually a sovereign person or a state national is under their own jurisdiction, right? Depending on the nature, it's a little different. So basically, when I say I'm prophetically sovereign or something of that nature, it's a descriptive nature, so you have understanding, like diplomatic immunity, license to kill, etc. So I was talking about that, and I explained it to him on his body cam. I made sure their body cams are on, and etc. And he came polite this time, or these officers did. It was different officers. It looked like I looked like kind of like an Islander guy with tribal tattoos on his, I think his right arm, and the other one was in the unit. So that being said, it was just that, and then I just talked to him about my thing, and he said, I don't really understand sovereignty. The other guy went in the car. He asked my name, and he was holding his little button on thing, I think, trying to say he was gonna run my name. I was like, I don't want to be ran. My name ran, etc. And then the other guy went to the car, did something, came back out, and kind of just pulled him away, because I think they already knew who I was. And then their precinct or whatever, this is my theory, or the precinct is there, just said that just calm him down and let him go. That's what I think will happen. But anyways, that's kind of what happened. It's still police harassment, but they came respectfully, and I'm usually up on point, like a little feeling like I'm being bullied, because I'm just upholding my rights, just because they don't understand them, and it goes against their jurisdiction, their statutes, their penal codes. They still come, you know what I mean? Which they're doing their job. I don't have a problem with their doing their job, but I get to do what I want. I could kill, steal, beat you up, run in your house, and the cops are not gonna arrest me. That's just what it is. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go do it, but if there's an issue, then we handle it on my own temple, my own nation, and stuff of that nature, and I work with the other one from the old name and claim the old Tin Man, etc. But anyways, that's just documentation out of the Lutheran Church, invoking my rights. And today I did make an FBI report too about some other natures and harassment and stalking. So, you know what I mean? So I just invoke my rights. And, you know, some sovereigns or some people can just call out people in mutual combat, but even if I fight, I could get them arrested if I fight and I started it because I'm not under their law and rule and thumb.